Transit workers in Metro Vancouver are facing growing safety challenges. A new national documentary called On the Front Line, Keeping Transit Safe depicts how staff navigate complex situations every day. The documentary was filmed partly here in Vancouver. Joining us now is David Cooper with Leading Mobility Consulting. Good morning, David. Thanks for being here. You're the film's executive producer. Why did you want to highlight the work of the transit employees across the country, including here in Metro Vancouver? Why was that important?
There's a few reasons. One is we wanted to give the frontline staff a voice in what they're seeing in terms of complexities on the transit system, in terms of mental health, substance use, housing and supports. We wanted to show the public the types of programs that are going on, but also really to talk about the sustainment of these programs in terms of funding and support. I've worked with transit agencies across Canada, including with TransLink on transit safety, and it's one thing for frontline staff to tell me the stories themselves, which they do through my work, but I thought it'd be really good for the public and decision makers to actually see it for themselves, where they could hear these candid conversations on some of the complexities that they're dealing with their everyday job.
Okay, so let's talk more about this. This film looks at how these transit agencies are being asked to step in to basically fill in the gaps when it comes to health and housing, social services, where those agencies are falling short. So what were transit employees telling you about what their day-to-day encounters are like?
Well, what we're seeing on transit is reflective of what we're seeing in our streets and our communities, and the challenges that they're facing are the same things we see at the street level in terms of increasing complexity with mental health when it comes to individuals that are sheltering in place in transit. And this is not a conversation that's isolated to transit. We've had the mayors that went to UBCM last week, and the big conversation with them is getting more supports from the province, and that's really a parallel conversation with us, is saying, you know, at the end of the day, our core mission is taking people from A to B, and we want to be supportive and we want to be helpful, but we can't do everything. We need that support from the province to increase our ability to have mental health supports, to have places for people to go to and not just be on transit.
And this documentary looked at, a big part of it was based in Metro Vancouver. You said Surrey, Metrotown area, New West, but really focusing on the whole transit system. But it's also looking at systems right across the country. What if these issues that transit staff are dealing with aren't addressed? Like, what happens to the system?
Well, it's a big issue. So if you don't feel safe taking transit, you won't take it. And that's one thing that has been very top of mind of transit senior staff. It's very on top of mind of frontline staff. We want you to be back on the system. And we've seen this incredible recovery of ridership across Canada, especially here in Metro Vancouver. But we need transit to be clean, safe, and reliable. And that's what the public expects us to provide. And that's something that if we can't do that, you're not going to take it. And that's something that's very top of mind for the frontline staff, but all of us in the transit sector.
One of the big calls to action is to expand legal protections for transit workers, not just vehicle operators. So how would changes like that affect TransLink staff?
So there's a national call right now on changing the criminal code to increase its breadth when it comes to having all transit workers protected when it comes to assaults. At the end of the day, we need enforcement and we need support. And one of the things that is important to us is we need to have our front line safe. My grandfather was an operator for 28 years. We need operators and trans staff to go home safely. But if you commit an offense against an operator, there should be consequences. And that's also something that we do want to educate the public on, is that we need to protect our staff as well as the importance of our customers, and that's something that is part of a broader call to action.
Okay, so where can people watch this documentary?
It's on the CUDA YouTube channel or at cudaact2.ca/safety, and there's a full documentary, but also we have little short clips on mental health, housing and supports, and substance use, and so you can see kind of the programs and services that are happening across the country and learn more about the efforts underway.
All right, the documentary is called On the Front Line, Keeping Transit Safe. As we mentioned, it's now available to watch online. David Cooper, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in.